Hey, party people, I'm Sean.
And I'm Steph.
And you're watching Running Rampant.
Woo!
Little show that takes you behind the scenes of Rampant Design. That's us right here. Talks a little bit about what it's like to run a small business. And then, of course, we open ourselves up to you, our fine furry friends on the interwebs. We take questions about anything and everything rampant and small business related stuff.
True.
And what was it, episode 24?
24.
We've done
6
24 of these
months of doing Running
Good
Rampant.
graciousness. If you've watched all 24 episodes, I'm sorry. The least we can do is send you a t-shirt.
Which we have coming in, by the way. They should be here at the end of this week. So look for those to go up online.
2 weeks.
We will definitely announce it on here on the show and tell you that they're in, ready to buy.
Yes.
Yay, t-shirts. Woot.
T-shirts. So we literally just finished shooting. We live streamed it, right?
We did. I'm going to actually show it here. But you can continue to talk.
So we've got a lot going on in the studio right now. We've just we're on day 3 or day 4 of our Blood Effects shoot right now, and most of the shoots have been live streamed, so people can see how we do things. So if you're interested in creating your own effects, you can, or if you just curious to see how we do it, this is some of our recipes that we've perfected over the while. We've released Studio Paint 2, which came out last week, and it will debut in our newsletter tomorrow.
Look how cool that is. That's paint.
So we shot that in our library, and this time it's more of a wet paint look. I know people are like, well, I've already got paint, or how is this different? This is a wet paint look, so there's a lot of reflections in it. It gives you that more alive feel, if you will, the more realistic paint feel. I really enjoy it, and it was done in a completely different fashion than we've ever done before. And then we've also released Cloud Chambers, which is what we first shot in the studio.
Yeah, we did a live stream of the
that
chamber
well.
effects.
Yeah, so it's chamber effects, cloud chambers, and basically ink and paint and other chemicals suspended in water to give you that cool, dreamy effect. And
it looks so cool.
It was fun. And we just cut both the promos, and both products are available now. You can go to rampantdesigntools.com and put in RDT.
Oh, wait, I have this. Wait, here we go. Yay! Put in that coupon code. RDT Labor 16 for 60% off.
Yeah, 60%, yo. On
What?
anything. On anything.
What?
So, yeah. We got to pay for the studio, man. Got to pay for this studio.
And then I just made that start again, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So anyway, can you cut to what we did today?
Possibly.
Okay. Well,
just talk amongst yourselves.
Our TD doesn't know what she's doing.
I will.
So anyway, so today, if you were online today, happy Labor Day, by the way, but if you're online today, you saw that we were streaming our day 3 or day 4. I can't remember which shoot day this is, but day 3 or day 4 of our Blood Effects shoot. It's been a lot of fun. For those of you who watched it, we had a lot of good conversations, but Final Cut Steph got paint everywhere, and she got to wear a raincoat where I just got covered in paint. It's fun. My only concern was getting paint on the red, though. That's not very cool. And Eric Hartman, if you're watching this, we didn't get blood on your lenses.
No, we did
not use your lenses
we
this time.
definitely did not.
So yeah, that's basically what's up with us this week. What else do we have going on? We've got 2 new products.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah,
I'm just going to quit this
Yeah,
because this is
forego
just
that.
weird. So
Stop your clicking and pay
yeah.
attention to what
Okay,
we're
yes,
talking
no
about.
more of that.
So yeah, that's basically it. We've released 2 new products, and we have a big sale going on, and we're right in the middle of a huge Blood Effects shoot.
Yes.
We're about halfway through. We've got probably 3 or 4 more shoot days, maybe 5 more shoot days tops, and we'll continue the post-processing, and that will be out before October. And then we have another surprise product coming out that I'm not going to talk about yet. So, and I don't even know if you know what I'm talking about. But that's it, and we're working on an iOS thing, which is also very cool. That thing has been the bane of my existence, but we're slowly moving forward, and it's been cool. It's just a lot of work, and can't wait for people to test it.
Yeah, that'll be cool. That should be done soon.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Hopefully. We've got so many projects in the air; it's crazy, and we're prepping for Adobe Video World. We're prepping for the Final Cut Summit.
Yes, Adobe Video World. If you are going at the end of this month, we will see you there.
Absolutely.
It is. I don't know the dates. Like the 27th through the 1st or something like that. It is in Seattle. So the Rampant crew, which is us, we will be there.
We have a crew.
We're the crew.
We're bringing the cats. Is that what you're saying?
No cats, just us. So we're flying out to Seattle on the 27th or 26th or something like that. And we will be there until the 1st, so that'll be fun. Meet everybody at Adobe Video World. And then next month, we have, at the end of October, is the FCPX Creative Summit.
Yeah.
It is in Cupertino. So you can, if you're coming to that, we're excited to see you there. And I will be presenting there as well. So yikes, that could be interesting.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
It'll be fun, yeah.
Stefanie was a teacher in a former life, so she's really great at what she does. Plus, we have the world famous Jeff Greenberg
guiding me.
us. Yeah, he's just a great human being. So yeah, that's basically a wrap up for us. We've got some pretty cool topics for today. We've received a lot of phone calls and emails about this, so Stefanie decided to put a whole list together. So why don't you tell us what we're going to talk about today?
So people always ask us, and since we've been doing this show, which has been 6 months now, which is crazy. What advice would you give to start a new business? Or I just bought a new business. What do I do now? What do I do? So we sort of were thinking about putting a list together of the 5 things needed to start a business. And there actually are a bajillion things you need to start a business, but we sort of whittled it down to 5. And then within those 5, it's like at Disney. Have you ever seen the top 10 must-dos on TV? Yeah, that's kind of like this list. So, but it is our 5 things you need to start a new business. So, yeah. Number 1. Hold on. Drum roll. Here it is. All right. So the first thing that we thought about as far as starting something new and a new venture in a business is time. Time is so important in everything.
Yeah, we've got a lot of people saying, how do you start your business? Do you just quit your job? Do you do this during a full-time job? Well, the answer is yes and yes. You can do either. If you've got an income or if you've got someone supporting you, by all means, quit your job so you can solely focus on this thing. For the rest of us, for the 99% of us out there who don't have that luxury, who don't have an additional income or someone supporting you, I worked a full-time job and I started Rampant. So I would work until 6 or 7 at night, and then from 7 at night until about 4 o'clock in the morning, I would do Rampant. And it was brutal. It was brutal for our relationship. It was brutal on me physically and mentally, spiritually, and in every way possible. But it was the only way that I could get Rampant up and going without quitting my job. It was so bad you put a cot in my office.
I did. And I was teaching at the time because we still needed 2 incomes. So because Rampant was not supporting us at the time.
Not even a little bit.
And I never saw Sean, and I didn't know what he was working on. And so I actually set up a cot in his office in our house. And this was just basically just an air mattress that sat in the back room, and me and the cats would sit in there. I'd do all my schoolwork in there, do all my grading, all my paper stuff. And then, we would always, be together at least, even though we weren't really together because Sean was working and I was working. So it was tough at the beginning as far as time goes. It was a lot of commitment, a lot of hours to sort of throw into the fire of Rampant. And yeah, it's tough. Time is hard, especially like time management, for example. Prioritizing what you want to do and what you need to get done. You need to do it all, but you have to prioritize what needs to get done at this moment versus what can be put off until 2 days from now or 3 days or a week or a month. We are always looking at the month as a whole and the year as a whole, but we kind of take it day by day and then even week by week. So we know that, we're focusing on doing the blood shoot, which is great and it's fun, but then there's all the stuff behind the scenes that you have to do. Like Sean has to do all the post-production, and I still have to run all the customer service and answer the phone calls. And if you were watching live, there was a phone call during the live shoot today. So it never stops. So prioritizing and getting time management together is a big part of time.
It should be said that we take our customers and our fans very seriously. So even though we were live streaming and shooting for a product that has a pretty crazy deadline, we stop everything to answer the phone. It's just how it is. We try to help everybody. We get a lot of phone calls that really have nothing to do with Rampant, but it's a video question or whatever, and that's fine. We still help out any way we can. But yeah, prioritizing is huge. We don't have the luxury of just playing around with blood. It seems that way, especially when we're live streaming, we're having fun, we're joking around. But the reality is there's 900 other things that have to be done. I had to knock out a newsletter, had to cut 2 promos. We have to prep for a project that we're collaborating with another company. The contract hasn't been signed yet, has it?
No.
Okay, so it's not signed yet. It's going to happen, but we just haven't signed the contract, so I can't talk about that. We had a meeting this morning. We got our iOS app going on. So there's really not any time where we're just like, wow, I get to work on one thing today. No, it's all about prioritizing, and it's all about figuring out. Every morning when we do our morning walk, we're like, okay, here's the things that we know we have to do. Here's these other things that we really haven't addressed. Let's go ahead and align for today what we're going to do. This is a moving target. So tomorrow, our priorities from today probably won't be as important or whatever. We don't know. Yeah. We just don't know. So, And we've got this stuff working completely 24/7. The stuff that you guys saw us shoot today, I've already prepped the After Effects project, and I've sent it over to my other workstation right over here. I have two, and it's churning and burning all the 5K stuff. And it'll probably be done tomorrow night or tomorrow morning. And then the stuff that we shoot after the show, because we have to shoot after the show.
That's right.
We go right back to work. We shoot. I'll have it over on this machine. Once again, cranking it out. So we're always doing something and managing our time. We use an app called Log Me In. So even when we're at home, we can log in, maintain the renders, manage things, fire off new renders. So it really is all about time management and prioritizing.
Yeah, and Paul, to answer your question was, what was the catalyst to both of you to jump in and not feel anxiety? Actually, it was a stage. It was in steps. It was very small baby steps that it took. So we moved to California, and I have teaching credentials for the East Coast, but my teaching credentials do not transfer to the West Coast. And I didn't really have a desire to teach in California. So when we moved out there, it ended up being that I lost my income and I was at home. And it's sort of how I became full-time for Rampant as far as customer service and web design, because I was going crazy not having anything to do at our house, just because I've always worked full-time forever. So for me, that's how I started. And then the stuff in California sort of fizzled out, and we had to move from California because it's so expensive. And it was the first time that Sean and I were like, well, let's move back to Orlando. Orlando's the our safety, our blanket for you to, so.
Well, it's relatively inexpensive, or
it is, yeah.
We knew we could always pick up jobs there if we had to.
Yep.
But it was a series of events. I had worked for three really, there's no kind word, three a-holes back to back to back, and I had just had enough. This last thing in California was a nightmare, and we just had enough. Yep. It was time to stop working for other people and time to start working for ourselves. And it was scary. And as for anxiety,
very scary.
For anxiety, I suffer from anxiety. So this was a really non-ideal situation for us. And for the first 6 months to a year, we didn't even know how we were going to pay rent. And it was scary. There were days where like, well, do we eat the cat? I don't know. It was really, really frightening. And, over time, things got a little bit better. And now we don't necessarily worry as much as we used to because we're used to this cycle. But the first, year was literally a nightmare, just going, I have no idea where our next paycheck is coming from.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, you're talking, making less than $500 a month with the company, and that's what we had to live on. I mean, it was really, really, really tough, and we were just struggling to make it, but we didn't have a choice but to keep going because we both knew that we did not want to go back and work for somebody else. But we did live in Orlando just in case we had to. We always had Disney, and I always had teaching. So
we pared down considerably too.
Oh yeah,
we got one car. We lived
yep.
in a tiny. We lived
tiny.
In a small. We rented a small house that was. The garage was actually larger than the house. We lived off of like the garbage buffets that you have in Orlando. They're like $5. Really terrible food for you, really unhealthy, but you could feed yourself for $5. And so you'd skip 2 meals and you just, eat either a really big lunch or a really big dinner and just go, okay, well, we'll eat again tomorrow. And it's just how it works. We had annual passes to the parks because those were already prepaid. So that was our entertainment, but it was rough because you couldn't even afford a water or a soda there. So it's just like, well, let's just put our heads down and get to work. And that's what we did.
Yeah, and it was tough. It was really tough. So yes, time.
Time
number
is the number
one.
That's
number one is time. All right, so moving along. Number 2, things. You need money, unfortunately. Money is part of something that you need to start a new business. But here's the thing. You need capital, but how much do you need? That depends on what you're starting, how you're starting it, and what you need.
And whose capital? You could do OPM. You can do other people's money. There's pros and cons for everything. If you're working with someone else's money, that means you still work for somebody else or with somebody else. You answer to somebody. And that money stream could be continual. It might run out. You might have to answer for every dollar spent. You might have to write quarterly reports. It depends. For us, we didn't do that, so we financed everything ourselves, and so any dollar that came in went right back into the company, and that was also brutal. It's still that way today. We don't really spend any money unless we have to for our product or whatever. We rarely spend money, though, but every dollar that comes in, we pretty much spend right back on the company.
Yeah, I think if you're starting something new and you're in a new venture, I think that you need to think about what do you need to keep your business running, and honestly make an honest list for yourself and say, okay, well, I need a website. Okay, well, how much is that going to cost? And then figure that out. There's hidden fees that you probably aren't aware of, like there's hosting and everything that goes along with that. So we didn't start out using this, but we now use WP Engine,
Right.
which, by the way, we're not being endorsed by any of these companies. No. We're just telling you some stuff that we use that we really like. They don't even know we exist. So
no, but
we're just little guy.
Times we've had questions, they've been great. But
yes, they're a fantastic company. I think that the beginning, starting out is like $30 a month. So if that's something that you're interested in, just keep in mind that you have a website fee and there's going to be yearly fees and all that stuff.
And it's not just the website. Your domain costs money, and that's independent of your website, which a lot of people don't get that. You buy your name, and then you buy your website. It's like buying the land and buying your house. And one's a monthly reoccurring cost and one's a yearly reoccurring cost. So take that into consideration with whoever you're hosting.
You also need to keep in mind about accounting and having an accountant. It is a must to have an accountant. Do not do your taxes by yourself if you are a corporation or an LLC or anything. Find somebody to do that, because there's no way, with everything going on, running a business and running a company, that can research every single small business tax law out there. So get yourself an accountant, find some accounting software, now when we started, there wasn't a lot of online training, but now there's tons of training online, which is great. So like we use QuickBooks Online. I love it. I like it because it's Mac friendly. The QuickBooks software isn't so Mac friendly. It's very PC centric. So at least it used to be. But I like the QuickBooks Online because I can log in anywhere. I can input anything. I can print a check from anywhere. I can do anything from a computer, basically. If I have a computer, then I can do it. So there's an expense there. There's a monthly expense with that. So I think it's like, I think starting out, I looked it up, it was like $7. And that's for the basic plan for QuickBooks Online. But we're on like the pro plan or something, because our needs are a little more advanced.
But talking
now
about an accountant, I don't practice my own medicine, and I don't practice my own law. There's some things that you just, for me, in my opinion, my humble opinion, your time is your most valuable asset. If I'm going to stop everything I'm doing and then work on taxes or bills or anything, that's crazy. That's crazy. If I can outsource that kind of work, that means I can still keep moving forward. And I'm so grateful that I have Stefanie and our accountant handle all of that. I'm free to do the creative. I don't have to worry about that nonsense. It drives me crazy. Every time I sit down in a meeting with them working at spreadsheets, I'm just starting to cry. This is like the death of me. That's what I believe hell is. I think hell is an audit session. So if you can afford it, I suggest doing it, because there's just no way that you're going to be up to speed with every single small business law in your state. That's crazy. It'd take you longer to get up to speed than it would be just to hire someone. And don't go to H&R Block. Don't go to these people who are temporarily tax people who, like, the dude was making your sub yesterday, now he's doing your taxes. No. No. Go to a legitimate accountant. They're not that expensive, and you can write off their fees, and you can always have a free consultation too. You don't have to pay them right off the bat. You can have a meeting. We had a long meeting.
Did.
And the very first thing our accountant told me was, your stock's not worth the paper it's printed on. So
we had to reorganize and restructure some things.
Yes.
Again, something that comes with just experience, and that's actually another number that we have. But also don't forget about your payment gateway. We use PayPal now. Our account is not free, but when you start out, if you're just using a standard PayPal account, it is free. But there is a percentage for each transaction, and then an actual transaction charge that they actually charge, like a per dollar or whatever. So look that up. There's definitely an expense there. Bank accounts, you'll have to have a corporate bank account, which, unless you're doing this through a private, your name, basically, like a
it's very
DBA.
dangerous if you get a DBA. It sounds like it's a great idea. Hey, I'll just do business as myself. I have two friends who've done this, and they've both been burned in taxes. They both ended up paying just an astronomical fee in taxes, and it's really difficult to separate you, the person, and you, the corporate entity. So just Get an LLC, incorporate. You know, this is what your accountants are for. This is what your tax attorneys are for. They can sit down and look at your business and educate you on what's the difference between a C Corp and S Corp, whatever. Again, makes me want to cry when I'm in these meetings. I'm literally just sitting in the corner crying, going, "This is the death of Sean right here. I'm watching Sean die." But anyway, it's important, and they'll walk you through it, and then they'll get you the right docs and everything like that. So. But don't do a DBA unless you absolutely have to. I had an hour conversation with the attorney about this. Like, there's no legitimate reason to do this unless it's just kind of a hobby or something. It's just bad. Unless you live in a state where DBAs are rocking, we don't. And it was just not.
Yes.
It was just a bad idea. Like I said, I have 2 friends who've just been devastated tax-wise from doing a DBA. So don't do it. Just get an LLC or an S Corp or C Corp or Block Corp. I don't know. Just get an INC.
Just get all the information.
Yeah.
Do some checking into what is best for you. Also, don't forget, if you're doing downloads like we are, you're going to have to find a download server. It's important. We use Amazon. Amazon is not cheap, but they also only make you pay what you use, which is really nice. So if we don't sell any products and nobody downloads anything, our bill is $0.
It's not $0, but it's a lot
low.
less. You pay 2 bills. You pay a storage fee and a distribution fee. The storage fee is stupid cheap.
Yeah.
The distribution fee is where they get you, but we've never had a bill larger than our income. So you really do pay for what you use. It's a wonderful thing. You've got a great month, you're going to have a hefty bill. You've got a low month, your bill is not going to be the same, and that's great. It's not like your power company where it seems like no matter what you do, you're still paying $9,000 a month. This goes along the lines with money. If you're going to recap, if you're going to do something online, you got to find a website. You got to find a domain. You got to find a place to host that domain. You've got to get a payment gateway. You've got to get a bank account, and then you can't get a corporate bank account without a corporation.
That's correct.
They all work hand in hand. So you're going to spend a couple days just running around town, and depending on what city you live in, like here, we had to go to downtown and fill out paperwork and declare who we are and what we're doing and what the space is for and blah, blah, blah. Everybody gets a piece. That's all it really boils down to. This paperwork just means that this company over here gets a check, dude over here gets a check. Just everyone gets checks, except us. We don't get any checks.
You don't get any. I want a check.
I definitely want a check.
Yeah, money's important, but the biggest thing for money, after you figure out exactly what you need to make your company just run month to month, that's kind of the expense. Do not, devalue the importance of sweat equity. We don't take credit. We don't, we try to pay every single thing we own for Rampant is paid off. If we can't afford it, we don't buy it. Mm-hmm. So it's just sort of one of those things. And we work our butts off to make sure everything runs, and it's tough. It's Labor Day. Everybody's like, why are you working today? We don't have the luxury of taking days off. Actually, we did just take off 1.5 days. We did a half day Friday and a whole day Saturday, which was fantastic. We sort of forced ourselves to do that. Well, actually, the hurricane kind of forced us to do it and stay in. But but it was nice, but we don't have the luxury. So don't discount sweat equity. It's very important, and it goes along with that money.
Especially when you're starting out, your greatest asset is sweat equity.
Yep.
Whether it's you or someone who believes in you. Beg, borrow, and don't steal, but beg and borrow, and get people to help you out. Give people a percentage of your company, maybe if they want to be a part of it ground up, or give people an opportunity to earn their way into the company with sweat equity. But you yourself, as the owner of your company and the operator of your company, sweat equity is the single greatest thing you can put into your company. It's free. And it's just your time. And like I said, your time is your most valuable asset. So it's all about the sweat equity. And I put 2 years into this company before we got a single dime. And I couldn't. I don't regret it one bit. I'm super happy that we are where we are as a result of the countless hours that we put in without even the promise of a paycheck.
Yep. So JJ has a question over there.
You can call me JJ. We're your friends running as if they were independent subcontractors. I don't know that, JJ.
Yeah.
I don't. They didn't explain to me fully what they were doing. All I know is that they called me up crying. One guy was roughly $20,000 owed to the IRS for 1 year, and the other guy was around 11. And I was just like, good gracious, man. Like I said, in my experience, DBAs are a no-no, and the attorney I talked to, they don't like that either. But everyone has their own opinion. I'm sure there are people out there who have a DBA that does just fine. Me personally, I want to separate Sean the dude from Sean Corp, if you will. And, Rampant's its own thing. Rampant pays its own taxes. I don't want to pay Rampant's taxes and vice versa. So, but I let my people handle that. Like I said, I don't represent myself in court, and I don't perform surgery on myself. So I really like to be creative and not have to worry about that stuff. It just really makes me go cross-eyed. So I will find that out, though. That's a really good question. I'll call up my buddies and ask them exactly what was the scenario. But all I know is that, I could barely hear through the tears. It was like 21,000 major monthly payments. I'm like, yeah, monthly payments are better than jail, brother. I don't know what to tell you. But it was bad. I'm making fun of it now. I'm making light of it. But it was really one of those deals where they were freaking out.
It was really bad. Yeah,
it was really bad.
Taxes. Pay your taxes. Don't pay your taxes.
Yeah. Don't pay your taxes.
Don't not pay your taxes. Anyway, all right, moving on. So that was number 2. So number 1 was time. Number 2, money. Number 3, patience. Ooh,
this is one we get all the time. There's not a day goes by where someone says something like, "You guys should have blown up by now. You guys should be millionaires by now. You guys should be making bank right now. I love your stuff. I see your stuff on TV all the time. You must be rich."
Yep.
It's all perception. Perception's reality. No, we're not rich. We do fine. But right now, as of right this second, we make what I used to make as an artist in Hollywood.
Yes.
So we're not making more. We're not making less. I feel very blessed to get to work with my best friend and my wife. They are the same person, by the way, and we get to do this for a living. It beats digging ditches, and it certainly beats working for some jerk who's driving a $500,000 car, laughing, on his boat, blah blah blah. And I've actually worked for that, multiple of those jerks. But patience. This is a seriously long play, and
very long.
Mark Cuban said, "What? It takes 15 years to be an overnight success," and that's not a joke. We're on our 6th year. In reality, we're in our 3rd year because we flushed our entire library. We had a big company steal from us and pretty much try to burn us into the ground. That was their intent anyway. But thanks to our friends and our fans, we kind of rose above it. But in year 3, we flushed the entire library and started all over again from scratch. So
we did.
It's a long play. It could be another year from now. It could be another 10 years from now. Couldn't tell you. That's not the goal. It'd be wonderful to make that kind of money, but that's not the goal. The goal is to make useful tools for people who create video. And just survive off of it, But money is not my motivator. My motivator is to create something that I'm passionate about and keep moving forward. Money is a great byproduct, but I'm, I guess, the worst businessman on the planet. I don't care about that side of the thing. I'm not here to churn cash. I'm here to make something that I'm proud of and something that I find to be useful, and hopefully the rest of you find useful as well.
That's true. Also, with patience, expect to have mistakes when you have a new business.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Even when you have a business like ours, we make mistakes daily. And so learn from those mistakes. And some mistakes are very costly. We've had some, and it's everything. It's day-to-day decisions that it's A or B. It's this road or this road. And the road you choose may not be the correct one. And we've had a lot of those. So it's expect to make mistakes. They are multiple mistakes. Also, don't be afraid that you're not going to make everyone happy. It's not going to happen. There's no way you can make everyone happy with your business. And with that comes, if you are selling a product with your business, comes chargebacks, and you're going to have them. It is very difficult to say. It's actually, I can't tell you they're not going to affect you, because they really are. But they are a part of business, and they're a part of taking money in this day and age, I guess. People are scammers, and they do credit card scams. They use your site to test multiple credit cards that they have stolen, or they're just trying to steal your products. Either way. But you are going to get chargebacks, and they're a pain. They're not fun. They cost money as well. And but it's just sort of part of the deal. It's not a fun thing.
Well, it's not just online, though. Anytime,
No.
if you put a product out there, if you're selling a product, whether it's in a brick and mortar or a physical location, or if it's online, people are going to find ways to work around it. People are going to find ways to steal from you, and people are going to find ways to scam. And that's chargebacks. Essentially, a chargeback is someone buying something from you, taking the product, and then whether it's them or somebody else filing a complaint with the bank saying, "Hey, I didn't make this. This is a fraudulent charge." Well, the people who get screwed over are us, or the people who are selling the item, because not only do you lose the money from the original transaction, but PayPal's not going to pay for that. Your bank's not going to pay for that. You ultimately pay all the fines and the fees, and there's paperwork involved every single time someone does it. You go in, you log IP addresses, blah, 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 blah. There's lots of paperwork. Sometimes you win. Yay. Most of the times you don't. Boo. And it's just part of the deal. It's just the cost of doing business. That's why when you walk into Best Buy, there's a dude at the door saying hello. They feel that's called loss prevention. They're not actually a regular employee. Their job is to scare you from not stealing. And they're watching everybody, including the employees. They are their own entity. Loss prevention is a real thing. It's the same online. And there's companies out there that you can hire to kind of watch sales, and it keeps adding up. But yeah, it's patience. Try not to take that to heart. I hate that. I hate when I get a phone call saying, "Hey, some dude jacked you for $5,000." $5,000 for us is a lot of money. So
yeah, that's a lot of money for anybody.
And it's happened more than once, unfortunately.
Yeah. So you're not going to make everyone happy, and there are going to be chargebacks. And guess what? Owning a company, it's not glamorous. It is not a glamorous thing. We have like our live shoots. That's the fun part of Rampant. That's the fun part of what we get to do. We get to sit in front of a camera and create stuff and be creative. But that is like 0.1% of what we do at Rampant. Yeah. Everything else is like, you got to do customer service emails and phone calls. And Sean does all the post processing of all these effects. And I think there was 111 paint effects and 56. So you're looking at close to 200 effects that he has to hand post produce. The back end, I don't know how to say that correctly, but it's a long process for him. While he's doing that, I'm doing websites and creating product pages. This stuff is not fun. It has to get done. It's just not fun. Doing accounting and paying your taxes is not fun, but definitely pay your taxes, even though it's not fun. So it's not owning a company.
What if I get away with? You can just go, you know what, government, IRS, hey, here's the deal. This isn't fun, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, don't. It's not a glamorous lifestyle. All of your friends will think that you're living a glamorous lifestyle. You're not.
Yeah, we got a phone call. We got a voicemail from a really good friend of ours going, I really wish I could sit at home and make money and like play games on the couch, play video games, and just have money come in. Yeah, and I'd like that too. And if you can figure that out, give me a call.
Yeah.
No, it's not like that.
It's hard work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work.
But if this is your life, if this life is for you, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
No.
I will never go back to working a 40-hour job or working for somebody else. And in our field, it's never been 40 hours. But I will never go back to working for somebody else ever again. I absolutely love and adore all of our friends and fans. And I really enjoy doing this. So as long as you all support us, I will absolutely keep doing this because I love this life. But it's not, like you said, it's not glamorous. Shooting and the production and all the stuff we put on Instagram that makes it look, a little bit more glamorous than it is, that's really 1% of the whole process that goes on. And if as long as you're mentally prepared for that, if you're mentally prepared to work harder than you've ever worked before and be patient, just keep focusing on the long haul and don't worry about the short term, then this life is for you.
Agreed. All right. Moving on.
All
right. So number 4 takes us to research. And research is very important when you're starting a new business to see what else is out there. Look at the market and see what kind of trends you can find in your actual place, or whatever you're doing, your field. Or and then other places as well. It seems that we've sort of found that the economy on a whole, if it's up, we're up. If it's down, we're down. Doesn't matter what kind of company you're doing. It seems to follow all the trends. So, just be aware of that and do some research as far as, what's going on in the world, not just in your little, because like video production is very small in the grand scheme of the world. So
yeah, but it all trickles down.
It does. Yeah.
The people who produce video buy these products. The whole world, the economy is all tied together. So when, I don't know, let's just use this as an example. When 1,000 Walmart stores go out of business, they shut them down, or Sears or Macy's or whatever it was, whatever it happens to be. When all these big box stores all shut down, all those people lose their jobs. Well, those people are related to people who make video or some way or somehow we're all tied together. So it really does affect. Same thing with politics. When this race first started, when the presidential race first started, the economy took a huge dive, and our sales reflected that. It's not an excuse; it's something that you're made aware of, and then you have to get creative. Well, how can I take what little data is coming in and figure out a way to get back to where we normally were? But it happens. Everything's tied together. Back to school, people aren't. I don't care what business you're running, the first of the month is always going to be tough because you've got people who are typically paying rent or mortgage or car payments or all of that. Bills come in, big bills come in at the beginning of the month. Back to school is a big time for retailers who sell back to school items and a bad time for everybody else.
Yes.
It's just, that's why you see all these crazy sales for Labor Day. You can get a couch and not pay for 9 years. 9 years. Well, they're just trying to get your butt in the door, and that will get you. And they're like, well, yeah, I'm not paying on this thing for 9 years. I'll get a whole new living room. Well, they're doing that because their sales are incredibly low because you're buying stuff for your kids to go to school. You're not buying a living room right now. Well, I guess you're getting both.
That's true. Yeah, so do some research. Also in the research realm, learn all the software and new stuff that you can. We are constantly learning. We never stop. We're actually taking a class next month to learn some stuff about Motion 5, Apple Motion 5. So it's just keep learning, keep pushing forward. You can't ever stop learning and seeing what's going on in your industry. If you put yourself in a hole and you forget about that the world's really revolving, then you're not going to succeed. You really have to know what's going on in your industry, whatever it may be, and position your company in the way that will be positive for you with whatever's going on. So
Paul's a good point. He says first of the month is when our bills are too, which is tough on us. Yeah. I mean, personally and professionally, our bills happen at the same time. We don't get this magical, grace period. Maybe you can somehow work out some bills to be in the halfway point of the month, and that's fine. But our studio payments due the first of every month. Our house payments due at the first of every month. It's just things happen, and so you have to kind of juggle that. And when you're looking at your business, you have to look at all the money outgoing versus incoming.
Yep. So, and one other thing about research is building up like a group of friends that can help you. Goes kind of along with doing, always learning. They will keep you up to date. Like if you want to find out the latest, what's going on with this, you can ask them. You can say, hey, what's going on with Adobe Premiere? Well, I'm telling you, if we said that in Facebook now, we would get 25 messages right away.
Yeah.
This is what's going on. So
I've got a lot of friends who are all in the same industry. I just fire off a text and be like, hey, I'm looking at this glass, and I'll get 30 responses. Or hey, what do you think about this the new Canon? And a lot of people are like $20,000 too much, 5 years too late. Whatever it happens to be, there's never a shortage of someone with an opinion. It's like I was looking for a decent pair of sticks for the Red, but I was not about to drop $3,000 on it because CFO over here is not going to let me spend $3,000 on a pair of sticks. So I fired that off, and our good friend Matt Barker's like, "Oh, I got the sticks for you, and they're going to be under $1,000, and they're awesome." And they were awesome. I do that all the time. Same with storage. I fired off. I just asked my friends, "Hey, how do you do deep storage?" And they'll all come pouring in with. Various opinions of what's the best thing for deep storage and for archival, etc.
That's actually a good question. So going back, yeah.
Yes, we have a cool question on YouTube. Billiam says, pricing creative projects vexes me. How do you, as a team, go about pricing products you create? If you're talking about for our storefront, we've developed our own pricing scheme. And our prices are always the same. If you're talking about if someone hires me as an artist, I have a certain dollar per hour that I require from my clients, but I don't bill out hourly. If someone says, hey, I want you to do this, and through further investigation I figure out what they want, I'll give them a flat fee because I've calculated in my head how many hours it's going to take, and I'm going to pad it just a little bit because sometimes you've got that client who just doesn't know what they want until they see it. So that's how I do it. But yeah, it's hunt and peck. You got to figure that out. You got to figure out what your time is worth, and ultimately what your client's going to pay. If the client's like, well, I've got I can only afford $1,000 for this job, and you think it's going to be a $3,000 job, you might want to reconsider taking that gig, or maybe paring down what they're asking for, or figure it out. But yeah, Stefanie and I both have an hourly rate for the things we do. She's got an hourly rate for her web design work. I've got an hourly rate for my compositing. But I don't bill out per hour necessarily unless my client's like, hey, I need a line item of, how many hours you did this and whatever. But I've never been over budget. I've always been under budget. And you just gotta know your client. There's a big company in town. I'm not going to say who they are, but they're notoriously cheap. They're a huge, huge company, notoriously cheap. I mean, it's insane what little they pay. But there's ways you can work that out. Instead of maybe it taking 3 hours, maybe it takes 7. I don't know what to tell you. You just got to figure out who your clients are and really figure out what they want, and then try to figure out what you think you're worth and what the client thinks you're worth. So when you build up a rapport, it's a lot easier. They just call up the phone, hey, Sean, I need you to do this thing. And I'm like, all right, cool, that's going to run you $2,000, yay or nay. They say yes, cool, move forward. Or if they're like, hey, can you work with me? I'm like, yeah, we can probably figure a little something out. But it's like that. But you just got to come up with what you believe your rates are worth. So let's just throw a number out there. Let's say you think you're worth $50 an hour. Okay, I'm just throwing this number out, not saying anything. I've got friends who make 75, I've got friends who make 200, I've got friends who make 20. Let's just call it $50 an hour. And if your client gives you this work and you break it down to yourself, not to them, and say, okay, this is a $2,000 job, well, then you better book that accordingly. But that's entirely up to you. Maybe you want to win this client over and work for less. That's a slippery slope. Or maybe you want to charge more, and you may potentially lose that client. It really is a slippery slope. You got to figure out who your clients are. Here's my biggest pet peeve, though, guys. As a guy who runs the company, don't ever call me up and say, what's your budget? I swear I'll start throwing chairs. I am so sick and tired of that. You tell me what you think it's going to cost me when I tell you, here's what I want to do. Don't make me bid against myself as a vendor, because CFO will go over here.
$10.
Right. Now, obviously, you're not going to work for $10. Come on.
$10.
So don't do that to me. Don't do that to your own customers. That's really a sloppy way of doing business. Figure out what you believe your worth is and stick to it. And don't compromise. Really, just be careful about slashing each other's throats when it comes to, well, I'll do this job for $50. No. Take pride in your work. Figure out what you want, but don't say, well, what's your budget? Because that's like that scene in Vacation where his engine broke down, and they're like, well, how much money you got in your wallet? That's not the right way to do business. So
$10.
You think I'm the mean guy? If people that were hiring out and they were like, well, what's your budget? I'm like, well, you just asked the magic phrase, and Stefanie's gonna just not make you happy.
$10.
Yeah. It's not. It can't always be $10.
No, really, don't. That's for coming from our side now and seeing this side. As far as I know, it's hard to make a bid because you have to price a lot of stuff out. Take the time. It is we find it very insulting when you come at us and say, well, what is your budget? Well, my budget's $0. So if your budget's not $0, then come at me with a number that I can either negotiate for or accept. So
and Paul Watkins,
and just what Paul said.
Yeah, Paul said numbers are never set in stone. Everything is and should be negotiable. Negotiable. Totally agree. Everything can be negotiated. You can work out all kinds of deals. I've bartered literally hundreds of hours of work for other things. Cash never took place. I've also lowered my rate because it was a gig I really wanted to be a part of. There's anything can happen, right? Don't go, well, no, I'm only worth this amount. No, that's where you start. That's where your bid goes in, right? But when you're trying to figure out what you're worth, you just have to figure out, okay, if you've got no experience, charging $100 an hour is probably going to be difficult for you. I don't know. You just got to figure out what you're worth and what your clients are willing to pay, and then you go for it. In other words, if you guys are coming from the two opposite sides of the map, if you're like, I want $10,000, and they're like, I have $2,000, let's try to figure it out. Now, if they keep holding at $2,000 and you're like, literally, this is a $10,000 job, I can't help you. Well, then the right thing to do is to find somebody else for them. That way, you're still the rock star, and you could probably make a referral fee off of that, or just be the person like, well, I can't help you, but I know someone who can. I do that all the time. I get people call me and say, Sean, I need you to do this thing, and I'm either busy or the rate is just outrageous. And after a quick discussion, I'm like, okay, we're just too far apart here. I'm not willing to work for that. You're not willing to come up. But here I have a solution. I know someone who's a really good artist. They're in your ballpark. I'm going to introduce you. I never speak about money. I will never refer someone and say, hey, they'll work for this. I just know mentally that you guys are in the ballpark, and I introduce you to, and I'm still the good guy. You're happy. We're all happy. That's the idea. Even if you don't get the job, make sure that your client, or the client you were talking to, is happy. What does Deb say here?
Deb said Deb Eschweiler's in Facebook, and she said, I had a client who said, I can only pay you this much per hour because of this reason. There's no limit on the hours you can charge us. She said she trusted me to not overcharge, but to calculate my usual appropriately.
Right.
And that's, yeah.
Yeah, I've got clients like that too, and within reason, that's true. Now, when they start to take advantage of you is when you need to stick up for yourself. So maybe there are a couple extra hours added to the bill. But yes, the honor system is a wonderful thing, and you should always be honest and forthcoming, because that stuff will come back to you. But yeah, I have the same I have many clients who are like, look, I know your rate. Can't afford your rate. I can only afford this. And I'm like, all right, we'll make it happen. Maybe you don't get Titanic or Jurassic Park, but you'll get something pretty good. Always try to over deliver, but it's that's the client game. Not everyone who's coming to you is the poor hurt soul that they pretend to be. That's part of the game of a producer. I'm not saying every producer is shady, but you're going to run into people who bought that book of how to produce video for nothing. And the promise of future work or spec work, blah, blah, blah. Don't work for free. And the future work thing, in my humble opinion, I've never made more money from the same client. That whole promise of a better gig next time has never panned out in 20 years. I could just be really unlucky, but for me, every time a client lowballs me and I accept that offer, I never am able to work for higher than that, because in their mind, like, well, you did this thing last time for this much. Why is it costing me more this time? Whoops, that's my fault, not theirs. I enabled them to treat me that way.
True.
Yes.
All right, we're moving on. All right, so our last one, which is the most fun, our number 5 thing that you need to start a new business: shut up and do it.
Yeah, it's a little blunt, but that's my point.
Stop talking
I have
about it.
A lot of buddies who will circle the pool and just talk about this business idea and just talk and talk. Meanwhile, they're broke and they're not making any money. Just jump in. You can course correct. This is more like sailing than it is like driving a car. You can constantly course correct. Do your due diligence, but get your feet in the water and just start moving. Stop talking, start moving. Not everybody needs a detailed business plan unless you're going for outside investors. If it's just you, you know your vision, you know what you do your due diligence, do your research, and jump head in and figure it out. You're going to always make mistakes, and that's okay. You're going to always, change directions, and that's okay. When we started this thing, we were doing HD on DVDs. Now we're doing 5K on hard drives. Things change. The world changes. Now we're doing Final Cut plugins. We never once thought we were going to do plugins. We've always been platform agnostic, right?
That's right.
So you just constantly ebb and flow, and you meet great people like Deb and Paul here, and everybody else that we know, who they help you out. They give you their advice. You'll find that when you jump in and you're honest with people and you're genuine with people, they'll be honest and genuine back to you. So all of a sudden you've got these people who actually care about you, who don't want you to fail, who do want you to succeed, and then you can take their advice. But stop talking about it. Quit your whining. Quit saying, wouldn't it be great if? And just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Literally, just do it. What's your phrase? Turn what into what? I love it. It's turn.
Oh, yeah,
I want this on a T-shirt.
Yeah, and this is coming from family and friends, but I like to turn "you can't" into "wanna bet." I am so sick and tired of friends and family saying, "Well, you can't do that. You can't do that. Oh man, you can't do that." In reality, they're saying, "I can't do that, therefore you can't do that." But when you say to me, "You can't do that," you're just waking a sleeping dragon. I'm like, "Want to bet? I'm going to do it." People told us you can't do this many downloads. You can't do 4K at ProRes. You can't do all this.
You can't
nonsense.
do a live show.
You can't do a live show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You'll see. We get you can'ts all the time.
We get a lot of you can'ts
all the time. And so you just turn that you can't that you're getting into a want to bet. You'd be surprised how great of a motivator that is, because you absolutely can do anything. It just takes hard work. That's the funny thing, is hard work takes hard work. That's it. There's no special recipe here. You work every single day at trying to be better. Tiger Woods is Tiger Woods because every single day, or was Tiger Woods, this is a really bad example now, but Tiger Woods was Tiger Woods because he practiced every single day. You didn't just wake up and just was amazing at golf. It doesn't work that way. It's every single day, dedicated, zoning in on this thing, and eventually it'll pan out. All these people telling you can't do it is absolutely ridiculous. You can do anything you want to do. If you want to start your business today, do it.
Do it.
It doesn't matter if there's a million other businesses doing this. Put your own spin on it. Do your own thing. Be genuine and reach out to your audience, and you will absolutely do it.
Yeah.
Paul said they opened up a throwdown. Yeah, I cannot stand when people say you can't do something. I've had a couple people in my life do the opposite. A buddy of mine, Mike Brazell, one of the nicest, most amazing composers, one of the nicest people on the planet. He sat down and goes, "Dude, you need to look at the world in a different way. When all these people say you can't do something, you're working for somebody else right now. You're helping fulfill their vision. Why can't you fulfill your own? What's the difference between them and you? Nothing. Time, money, whatever it is. But it's all achievable. Time,
Yep.
we all have the same amount of time. Money's easy to get. You can earn it. You can borrow it. You can wait till the cashier's not looking and take some out of the till. No, don't do that. But you can absolutely do it. So
and don't let money stop you.
No.
Again, it's just another excuse, because you can do it in small steps. You don't have to jump all, be where we are now in 6 years. You start at the beginning. You make little teeny steps here, and you just keep going forward. You just keep pushing and doing what you need to do for each day to get stronger and better.
And I need to add something to that, because we get this a lot. People compare us to so-and-so, this other company over here, this person over here. Don't do that to yourself, and don't do that to others.
Compare.
Don't compare yourself. You don't know their path. You're comparing your daily life to their highlight reel. You have no idea what they're going through. You have no idea the actual reality of their lives. We all, as a company, your idea is to put your best foot forward. Hey, check it out, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, it could be just, We had a good friend write about our new studio. Oh, it's amazing these guys are doing that. And I love that. That's great. But the reality is it's a small little studio space in the middle of downtown that a lot of people walking by, one, wouldn't even know we're here, and two, would never walk in because it's a little sketch. Right? It's a
nice place.
I love it here, but it's in an industrial complex.
But we're not talking about Warner Brothers or Disney
No,
Studios. I mean,
no,
we're just
we're
a
not-
little.
we're
It's
not
just
on
a
a
little
lot of-
complex.
We didn't buy an old feature film lot. No, it's look.
You do what you do.
You do
what you need to do.
But don't compare yourself to other people because you're only
No.
going to lose. We're all on our own paths. We're similar. We bump paths every once in a while. We cross paths every once in a while. But we're all on our different paths. So when someone comes up to me and goes, "Oh, hey, you should be more like blah blah blah," or "Aren't you jealous about this dude?" or whatever. No, I'm not. I'm doing my own thing. They're doing their own thing. I'm doing my own thing, and I'm not going to alter course.
But you need to be aware of those people. Don't stick your head in the sand and not know you have any competitors or other people in your space. We're very well aware of everybody who's in our space. Yeah, we know them, but they don't bother us. We don't.
I'm not worried about what they're doing.
We don't really
though.
have time to dedicate to thinking about them over everything else that we have to complete in the day.
But there's that famous photo from the Olympics, that dude staring at Michael Phelps as he's pulling away. You can be aware of who's in the pool
Yep.
with you, but why are you paying attention to what they're doing? Stay focused on you. There's room enough for us all to do what we want to do and do what we need to do. Yeah, we may not all be millionaires. We may not all be, rolling in it. I don't have a big, amazing car or fat whip or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm completely content. If I got hit by a bus tomorrow, I would be fine. She would be a little upset about it. And I've made some amazing friends. And I'm super, super grateful that I unplugged from the grid. I stopped working for other people and started chasing my own dreams. I've never felt more alive and more fulfilled in my life than the day that I unplugged and stopped helping other people fulfill their dreams and started working on my own. It's a whole different life, and if this life is for you, I can't say enough about doing it. But tune out the negativity. Just do whatever it is you want to do. I don't care if you want to come up with your own version of Rampant. Do it. We're always going to do something different. There's a billion chefs out there, yet they all make food.
That's right.
They all make steak and hamburgers and salads and soups, but they all make their own versions of those things. So it doesn't matter to me what you're doing. You've got all these chefs out there. I look up to Gordon Ramsay. This dude is crazy. He's nuts. He's got a billion Michelin stars of tons of restaurants. He's following his own dreams, shows, everything. Those are the kinds of people that I admire. And I don't care if there's 30 other people starting up a company that's doing what they think I'm doing. You're not. You're doing what you're doing. Your interpretation of it. So don't let anyone stop you. And,
That's right.
Don't be afraid of stuff. We get hate all the time for doing live shows and doing things differently than everybody else. And how dare you do this when there's all these big companies out there and you should really sell this to this thing or do this to this other thing or just bow out all together. All right. Well, I haven't stopped. I'm not going to stop. And just don't let people stop. We got last week we got all kinds of crazy trolling.
Yeah, we did get a little bit of YouTube live trolling, but it happens, and it happens. See, that actually was live, so everyone got to actually see that live, but that actually happens because we moderate all of our comments on the actual YouTube channel, so we see that every day. That was just a small glimpse of what you guys got to see.
And it's emails and
but that's
phone
what I'm saying.
calls
It's in emails, and so it's behind the scenes. We get that exact same stuff. So that wasn't any different to us. We had a lot of comments and phone calls and emails saying, "I'm so sorry that happened. It happened. It happens to us every day, and we just can't let it bother us because we have to move on.
Yeah.
There isn't anything we can do about it. We can't stop it. So it's just one of those things. So definitely don't make excuses. Just get up and do it and move forward every day. That's all we can say.
So even though this is a list, the reality is that you'll make mistakes.
Yep.
It takes time.
Yep.
Keep your head down and get to work. It takes time. You have all that in the world. It takes money. You can borrow it. You can make it. You can invest in yourself. You can ask friends and family. You can, you can get Patreon. You can get you can get donations. There's ways you can do it. You can work a second job while you're fulfilling your dream. Then you've got what? What's the patience? It takes so long, and we're not where I want to be. I'm never satisfied. But if I stop, pause, and look, I'm super happy. And it's taken 6 years to get where we are, and I couldn't be happier. Research, constantly be aware of your surroundings and surround yourself with people who are in your industry who will help you. Hey, did you do this thing? Or hey, did you check out this camera or this hard drive? Whatever it is, whatever industry you're in. If you're working in video production, talk to your friends. Say, hey, help me figure out this thing. Partner with them. You're not going to put them out of business. There's plenty of people who are looking for video production work. And then the biggest, most important thing is just shut up and do it. Just do it. It amazes me, all these people who tell me their dreams, but they're not chasing it because of this, because of that. There's all these excuses. Well, that's fine. The rest of us are chasing our dreams, going, the train's leaving. You can either jump on or you can be left behind. So just do it. Chase your dream. Doesn't matter what it is you want to do, and the rest will all fall into place.
That's right. And turn you can't into you want to bet.
Yep.
That's the best phrase ever. So if you're still watching, and this is a long episode, we do apologize for that.
Well, you made a list of 5. We should probably done a list of 3.
It was hard to get it down to 5.
That's
it was
true.
really difficult to get down to 5. So yes, just keep doing it. And if you wrapping everything up, if you like this show and you want to see more, we are live every Monday at 4 p.m. Doesn't matter if there's a holiday. It doesn't matter what's going on. We will be live every Monday at 4 p.m. Unless we're at a show, and then we can't really be live if we're doing a show event. But subscribe on YouTube. Right now, if you're on YouTube and you're watching, go right now, subscribe. Push the subscribe button. If you subscribe on YouTube, you will actually get a notification when we go live, which is really cool. If you are watching on Facebook, you can subscribe to the Rampant Design Tools page. And I don't know, I think you have to go to events, and it's convoluted. But go to YouTube, subscribe there. You'll get a notification. You don't get a notification from Facebook at this time, I believe. So yeah, subscribe, like, share this with your friends. We love talking to you guys, and we love that you guys join us and watch us and talk to us live and ask us your questions. It's amazing to get to hear your stories and what you guys have been through, and we like sharing that as well. So if you have any questions or comments, please let us know. Email me, and we have T-shirts coming for everybody who wants T-shirts, so that's exciting. And if you got our latest newsletter, we are going to all these shows. We have a call out for footage.
The newsletter, unless you have a DeLorean, the newsletter hasn't gone out yet.
Oh.
Today's Monday.
Oops. Oh, today. Monday.
We're doing a call for footage. I think someone's calling us. We're doing a call for footage. If you want, we're going to all these trade shows. If you use our style effects or if you use our products, go ahead and you're able to show this stuff.
Yes.
We'd like to put your stuff in our demo reel. Now, if you're not able to show it, still write us and tell us how you're using stuff. We always like to hear about it, but that's going to be in the newsletter. Okay.
That's the best. I want to make a shirt that says $10. Yay!
So we've got hold on. We got a lot of comments here. Paul, no, don't say never mind. I'm not going to ignore your statement. You said, do you think it's a fine line between promotion and bragging? Absolutely.
Yes.
It all depends on what you're saying and how you're saying it. I'm not going to come out saying my stuff's the greatest, right? Now, if someone comes out and says that for me, I'm not going to delete the comment. That's wonderful if you like our stuff and you think it's the best. But I'm never going to come out and say this is the best stuff ever. Nobody else exists. Don't even bother to look. We are the best. You will conform. No, that's crazy. But you can say, hey, this in our case, hey, this is real. I put our sweat into it. I've been doing this for 20 years, trying my absolute best to make this a thing. I'm really more of a self-defeatist than most people are. Some people say I need to be a lot less humble, a little bit more braggy. I disagree. I believe in keeping humble and staying humble. I try to work on it every day. But I think there's a fine line. There are some people out there. Well, case in point, there's a group of kids, young kids, who came out swinging with a product. They came out swinging at another person in this market, saying that this person's product was garbage, and it's not. This is one of the top people at the game. They just came out swinging. Maybe because it is a place of ignorance. Maybe they don't know what they were doing, or maybe they were. Maybe they're just coming out swinging like, I want to be at this number 1 position, so the thing I'm going to do is just literally just swing for the fences. Well, they missed. And the product that they delivered was garbage, and you really don't hear about them as much anymore. They're still around. But they made a crucial error in judgment, going for the person and the company that's really at the top of the game, saying your stuff is way, way better than theirs. I would never in a million years, A, compare myself to somebody, and B, say, we're better. That's the job of our friends and our fans to make that decision. If you believe that, that's great. But yeah, no, I totally agree that I believe that there's a difference between promotion and bragging. Our promotion materials are typically just factual. This is what it is. This is how it was made. This is what you can do with it. We hope you like it. And then over here, Motion Point, thanks a million for all you do. It's a great show and I really appreciate your candor. Thanks. This is why we do what we do. We feel like our friends are very open and honest with us, but not a lot of people are as honest with just in public. The reality is we don't know what we're doing. We do this every single day. We're not business people. I didn't take any business classes. No. I went to film school. I have no idea what I'm doing. I know how to make my recipes. I know how to make the things that I make. I know how to use the software that I know, and that's it. That's all I know. I'm literally terrible at everything else in life. I can barely walk. I can't count and chew gum at the same time, whatever. I literally only know how to do this one thing. And so running a business has kind of been a hobby and a fallback. for us, right? I mean, it's just we're learning as we go.
It's not a hobby, though.
Not a hobby, but
this is our life.
This is our livelihood. But I didn't go. I don't have an MBA going, well, here's what I'm going to do. And
No.
I had to learn what ROI means, and I had to learn, about a business account. Everything we just told you today in this episode, we all had to learn on our own. We had to figure it out. Nobody sat there and goes, okay, well, here's what you're going to do. No. Hey, Andrew, morning to New Zealand. Wow, you all are. That's cool. We have lots of friends from New Zealand.
We do.
But yes, we're definitely going to do a T-shirt that says $10. That is awesome.
But thanks, guys, for watching.
Yes,
we really
thank you.
appreciate. Sorry it took so long, but we did have some. We did have 5 things to talk about,
and all these great questions.
And great questions from everybody. Again, you can watch every Running Rampant show. I think I have a thing. Let's just show. Every Monday at 4 p.m., rain or shine, and holidays, doesn't matter.
You can see previous episodes where?
You can go to runningrampant.biz, or you can see them on YouTube. We have a playlist with all of our episodes as well, and on iTunes if you want to listen in the car. However you like to watch or listen, you can do that. And that's about it for today.
I'll leave you with this. We are nothing without you all.
We are.
We absolutely love and adore our friends, our fans, our customers. You all are amazing to us. I can't thank you enough for allowing us to do this for 6 years, and I hope we get to do it for another 6. Thank you so much for your support, whether it's just in likes or buying products, whatever it is, telling people about us. Thank you so much for your constant support, and we love and adore each and every one of you.
We do. It's very true.
It's a true story.
We couldn't do it without you guys. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next Monday.
We're Rampant, y'all.
Bye.